Hi guys, welcome back to Dividend at 40. Today I'm going to try something a little bit new, something that I don't think I've necessarily seen anybody else do. Apologies if somebody else has done it and I've just not seen it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to have a little bit of a look at the pies that I'm going to be investing in September. And I'm going to sort of look at the breakdown of the minimum amount I can put in those pies so I can spread the investment out over the month to get some dollar cost average with only the small amount of deposit that I've got. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring up the calendar from Snowball Analytics and try and incorporate that into the calendar as well so that some of those dividend payments that I'm expecting can be reinvested straight away. Okay, so here we have the calendar from Snowball Analytics that's got my expected dividends payments for this month. And what I'm going to try and do is take these deposit amounts over here that's got basically a split of my pies and try and determine how exactly I'm going to do those. So the reason I'm doing it with the dividend calendar is that some of these payments in later of the month I'm going to try and incorporate into one of these payments. Now the reason I'm doing this is that I want to try and get a bit of dollar cost average. However, some of these pies, like the dividend stocks, for example, because of how the pie is set up, I have a minimum of £10. Now, because of the fact that it's only 20% of my portfolio and I only have a £100 deposit, that means that I can only effectively make 2 deposits. So all I'm going to do here is try and work out a bit of a timetable for the month that will work for me, really. So we can see here the calendar for the dividend payments for the month. It's due to be £17.86, but not all of these are confirmed yet. Some of these I think are just estimates, so I won't go into too much detail with that. But what we will look at now is we will start by looking at these pies. So the growth ETF pie that is 40%, so £40. Now I'm going to try and split that between 10 different investments at £4 a pop. So what I'm going to try and do with that one is I think I'm going to go for all of the Tuesdays and Thursdays in the month. There's no real logic behind that other than trying to avoid Mondays and Fridays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that in and see where we get to. Okay, so we've dropped in the global ETFs, all of the Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then due to the split that I had one left, so I'm going to just pop that in on the first, just because that was a bit more time in the market. Then I'm going to move on to the growth stocks. Now the growth stocks I could split into a couple more. However, it's such a small amount at just £10 that I think I'm just going to add them in on the first and just get them sorted. So another reason why I'm going to put the growth stocks on quite early in the month is some of them seem to be quite down at the minute. So I'm just getting a bit of a better price. Now moving on to the dividend ETFs. So this one I'm actually going to do in a bit of a way that's counterproductive, I think, to everything else that I'm saying. But one of my main dividend ETFs actually has a ex-dividend on the 3rd. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split that by 2 and do it on the 1st and the 2nd. Okay, so that's those 2 in there. Now, the last one on my list is the dividend stocks. Now I'm going to split those again just by 2, but I'm thinking about doing these on the 16th and the 30th. So I'm going to pop those in now. Another reason why I'm adding the dividend stock one to the end of the month is that it's got a chance to build up those dividend payments from the month to be reinvested. Okay, so that's all of those in the calendar, and that is my plan for this month. Hopefully somebody found that interesting. If nothing else, it's just for me to know what we need to put in on what days to try and get a little bit more out of it. Okay guys, that was just short and sweet. It was just a bit of an idea that I had to try and plan out what I was going to do with my investments this month, and hopefully if anybody's got any feedback, by all means let me know. I'm very new to this. It's all a bit of a learning curve for me. I know that some people are adamant that you need to be investing in your pies every week, every couple times a week. But like I said in the introduction, because I'm only putting £100 in, it's very difficult to be able to do that with the pies that I want to be using. If you like this video, please drop a like and I will catch you next time.